Hello, good morning. Welcome to Beachcombing Live with the Living Seas team. So this is all part of Seananigans or Miri Moral. So welcome and croeso, and we've got Nia and Dawn both on. So hopefully they'll have some good finds ready for us. So I'm Eve. Emma, who's our Living Seas intern, will be answering your messages on the chat as well if you've got any questions. So keep those coming in and we will try and answer them as we go along. But without further ado, let's go to Nia, who's at Llandonna. So this is all a bit of a tester for us. So Nia, are you at Llandonna? How are you doing?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here at Llandonna, and it's actually a really lovely dry day, albeit a bit cold. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of where we are, we're on the east coast of Anglesey. I'm going to try and switch the camera around now. So we're on the east coast of Anglesey, and it might seem odd because sometimes you'll see in quite a lot of the literature. If you want to go beachcombing, go to the west coast. And the reason I've come here is because basically, I don't think it matters where you are in Wales, your local beach, you will find 1,000 stories on the beach. And beachcombing is one of my favourite activities over winter. So I decided to come here because it's a great beach. It's on the east coast, and what we do find here is a lot of natural beachcombing finds. Because it's on the east coast, we don't get that much litter, and we get a lot of different things here than you'll see when we go over to Dawn's in a minute.
Yeah, it's looking really beautiful there this morning.
It is definitely, and it's quite calm. And what's nice about here, you've got this sort of vast, if you can just see here, this sort of vast sand flat. Just behind me is the village of Llandonna up at the top, and then I'm just going to pan you over. In the distance there, that's Point Linus, Moelvra and Red Wolf Bay, and just closer to the beach here you can see the strand line. If anyone joined the chat last night from Steve Trewella and Julie Hatcher, they were talking about this incredible habitat, and if we're just looking now, this is where we can see the strand line. So right in front of you, you've got this sort of the middle strand line, down there the bottom strand line, and there's the top strand line. So that strand line on the top that you can see there is the point at the highest last tide, where the tide's thrown out all of this stuff onto the beach, and it's incredible. You know, you might not think that you can find much, but if I'm just going to walk along a little bit now, you can see the variety of shells that we can see here right now. So yeah, no, it's a fantastic place. And if I just go right down, just finding here, we've got a little bit of a sea potato.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah,
lovely.
So hopefully during the sessions we might find a one that's a bit fuller, but they're basically related to sea urchins. They live under the sand, and yeah, they get their names because they kind of wash up on the beach. So they've got this little hair all over them, and what that stops is the gills getting clogged up by the sand and the mud.
I can just show everybody. Let me just show everybody a photo of a sea potato. If you bear with me 1 second. There we go. So everybody should be able to see that. So we call it a when it's just the inner shell left like that. And it's got really beautiful patterns on the outside, and they're very, very fragile. So you've got to be very delicate with them because they'll break up very easily. But I've also got a photo of. Bear with me 1 second again. I should have a photo of one with the. We might. Here we go. One still with the hairs left on the outside of it. Oh, hang on. We might have to come back to that one. Oh, no, there it is. There we go. There we go. So that's a beautiful photo of a sea potato, still with you can still see the very sort of bristly hairs left on the outside. So they're very beautiful animals, and they've got a very good name as well, Sea Potato. What else have you found, Nia?
Yeah, well, so just in front of me here we've got mermaid's purse. So we can tell this is mermaid's purse, which is an egg case. So it's an egg case of either a skate or a shark, and you can tell that this is a ray or a skate because of it's got the horns rather than the curly tendrils. And I haven't actually seen any with the curly tendrils, and they come from the true sharks, the what you know as the lesser spotted cat shark or the bullhuss. I haven't seen any here today, but if they've got the tendrils, they're true sharks. But if they've got these horns, it's a skate or a ray. And this one is from a spotted ray, and you can tell what species it's from the shape of its mermaid purse. So if I go actually here, I don't know if you can see that. So we've got two here. Unfortunately, these are broken, but you can tell pretty much that they're a different shape. So this would be from a thumbback ray, and this is spotted ray. And the good thing to do with these, if you are beachcombing, is make sure they're empty, take them home, put them in water, and that rehydrates them. And that means that you can see the shape, what they should be like, because quite often on the beach they look sort of small and crispy. And then what you can do then is you can identify which species it's come from. And the Shark Trust has got a really good resource on the website where you can identify them, and you can also submit your sightings. So this is one thing about beachcombing, is that you can go beachcombing, you can enjoy yourself, but you can also provide data for science and conservation.
Yeah, the Shark Trust website is fantastic, isn't it? And it's like Nia was saying, it's got some really good stuff on it, really good information, and you can download and print a take out with you onto the beach as well. Nia, if we just leave you there for 1 second, because I think Dawn, on the topic of sharks, I think Dawn might have an interesting find. So if I leave you there for 1 second, Nia, and we'll come back in a bit.
You need, a warning.
Hi, Dawn.
Hi.
So Dawn is down at Dinnestintley. So how is it looking down there this morning, Dawn? Is it nice?
The sun's literally just come. I mean, the sun's been out everywhere else today, and I was looking over at Llanddwyn. I can see Llanddwyn Island on Anglesey on the west coast. That's been bathed in sun the whole morning, but now finally we get the sun out. And
lovely. And we've got a very interesting picture on the screen right now.
Yeah, this is this is not me trying to be gruesome and showing you the shark teeth, but it's a really, obviously it's upsetting to see cat sharks on the coast dead, but this is, they do die and they do get washed up, and we've been regularly seeing on this shore some female cat sharks washed up. We don't know whether it's while they're breeding that they're sort of getting caught out, but it does give you a chance of having a really good close-up look to what are just spectacular animals. So this one is a close-up of its teeth. You can see they are fish-eating teeth because they're really quite sharp, and I don't know whether you can see the rows there as well. But also this shows you these here, this sort of channel here and the opening, from the nares all the way down, helps you identify this as a bullhuss or the greater spotted cat shark, and not the smaller cat shark. So I'm just going to move up, and hopefully the focus will continue. You can see its gills there.
Yeah,
and it's thin, and then you can see that actually it was laying. So I'm just going to move up slightly. So this is the whole of the shark there, plus my shadow in the sunshine now. So it does give you an amazing view of these just truly amazing animals. And I'm just going to pan around because this beach here is totally covered in bullhuss eggs. So these are the eggs. They're pretty big. I don't know whether you can tell. These are the tendrils that you could see coming out of the female just there. And a little baby shark, a single individual in each of these eggs, is laid in here, and then it sort of feeds on yolk for about 10 months around here, in this one anyway, before it comes out. And then these eggs you can find empty, hopefully, on the shore. So I don't know whether you also want to see a different type of egg. and this is a whelk egg. So whelks are what part of our fishing industry here is whelk fishery, and these are the eggs. They do have a gruesome story, but I'll leave somebody else to tell that tale. And if anybody, I did find a whelk somewhere here. I'll have a look later to show you what I'm talking about. But then there's also this I found, which is quite a whopper. So a lovely lobster claw.
Wow.
Yeah, which is lovely. And I think Nia found some crab malts as well on her shore. Did she?
Let's Nia, is that right? Have you got some crab malts on your shore?
Yeah,
Like,
let me just.
This is shore competition. This is, isn't it?
Oh, it's just open. What's amazing is how so different, isn't it? But yeah, here's some crab malt. So,
oh, fantastic!
This one you can tell which crab it is by the shape of its malt, like this. And this one's particularly distinctive because I don't know if you can see the colour very well, but it's quite a nice blue, velvety, and it's quite blue purple with a velvety feel to it. So this is a velvet swimming crab. And when they're alive, they've got sort of big red eyes, and they're actually quite a vicious crab. So if you are rock pooling and you find these, they tend to sort of stand up to you and start going for you. So I suggest leaving these where they are. But you do find these, what they call crab malts, on the beach, and you'll find lots of different species. So this one's a velvet swimming crab. And what happens?
Nia, I've actually, sorry to interrupt, Nia, I've actually got a photo that I can just show everybody. A photo of a velvet swimming crab, because they really are stunning. They've got these incredibly bright red eyes, and these red markings on their legs on the outside. And they like Nia said, I mean, they look vicious, and they can pack a good pinch, can't they? So yeah, it's worth, if you see them, trying not to pick them up or anything like that, because they can be a bit painful.
What's incredible, I think, about that picture is you can just see the colour of what life underwater in Wales is like. So quite often, on a day like this, we're looking out and it's all quite cold and everything looks a bit brown and green. But actually, when you go underwater, life is really colourful. And so, that pictures is a prime example of that. So yeah, so what crabs do, their shells, their hard shell is on the outside, so they can't. Once that shell's hard, they can't grow again. So what they have to do to grow, they have to get rid of one shell and grow another one. So what they'll do, they literally just crack the shell and step out of it, and then they're soft for a while they're growing, and that shell will go hard. And then once they're hard, that's it then, until they want to grow again. So you do find lots of these malts, we call them. So this crab is not necessarily dead just because we've seen its shell on the beach. But in that picture, in that kind of habitat, if you saw the colours of the anemones and all the sort of stuff in the back, and is things like this. So on the beach like this, when you find them, and one thing I always think is that beachcombing is like this giant game of Cluedo, where you get onto the beach and you're trying to find evidence of what lives in the sea and what they do and how they live and who eats who and who kills who and who was left where. And then this is a really good example of that, and it looks almost nothing. We get a lot of inquiries about this species where people find them on the beach, and it looks awful, and it does stink. But this is called a dead man's finger. So it doesn't look that much on the beach, but underwater it's incredible. It's got these little polyps that come out, so you get these massive beds of these sort of their orangey colours with these polyps that stick out. And then during the winter, what happens, the polyps tend to sort of pull in, and then they're not very active over the winter. And over the next couple of months, what they'll do is they'll shed the outer skin and start feeding again. But after storms and things like that, we do find them washing up, and this is a type of soft coral. So these are called dead man's fingers, in Welsh llaw farw.
And they really are quite whiffy, aren't they? if you give them you give them a sniff, they really do smell quite bad.
I have been caught out, I have to say, putting one in my pocket to go take it home to find out what it was. And
Oh,
I've only done that once. Okay, interesting. We've got here. Sorry if I'm moving too fast. Tell me, everyone.
no,
So
I think
here,
good. No, it's good speed.
it's good speed. Okay. So this, it looks like a seaweed, but it's actually a colony of animals, a type of bryozoan, a group of animals known as a bryozoan, a sea mats, and this is creates this sort of folio structure. But it's actually, if you look really carefully, I don't know if you'll get to it from here, but lots of tiny little polyps, each working in the colony, and it's called a horn rack. When you find these fresh, give it a little bit of a rub and smell it, and it should smell like fresh lemons. This one doesn't. It's obviously not that fresh, but just smells a little bit. But it's incredible. So there's a lot of species in the sea that kind of look like plants, but are not plants at all. And this is one of them, the horn rack. And actually, if I look really carefully at the bottom of that, you'll see some of the tendrils of a small spotted cat shark. So Dawn showed you the bullhead mermaid's purses with the tendrils on the end. And these are the little tendrils of the small spotted cat shark. So we haven't found any of those mermaid's purses. And just as an example of animals that look like plants, here's a really good example of that. These are basically just a bunch of hydroids. So again, polyps, little polyps working together in a colony. Incredible. Look like plants, but actually animals.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have the seaweeds. So this is saw rack, and they wash up on the beach and they start to rot and they create this incredible habitat. And if you didn't watch the talk last night, it's worth going back when we put it back online to hear Steve Trewella talking about this incredible habitat and all of the little critters that live in it. And I'm just noticed, oh, it's not quite right, that one. I'm desperately looking for a drill hole of the necklace shell, because that's the type of thing that you see in the shells that wash up in these types of habitats. There's lots of mollusk species and shell species, and one species is an incredible one. It's called the necklace shell, and it drills a hole in other shells, and it drills a hole so that it feeds. So when you're in places like this, it's worth really having a look at the shells to see, just in case you can find these little drill holes. And I will try and find one by the end of the
I've got one
session.
up on the screen at the moment, Nia. So I'm just sharing, so you can see this shell has a perfect spherical hole drilled into it. And essentially there's certain mollusks. So the necklace shell, the dogwelk is one as well, and they have these driller sort of pieces of kit that they drill into another mollusk. So this one's a bivalve, so it would have had two shells, and they essentially they can drill a hole in, and then they can insert an acid, which then makes everything inside a bit like mush, and then they can insert a almost straw type thing and just suck out all of the innards basically. So it's it's an incredibly amazing adaptation to make sure that they can get to the food that they need. So that's very interesting.
So sorry, here's the mermaid's purse of a small spotted cat shark. So you can see the tendrils here. It's much smaller than the mermaid's purse that Dawn had, the bullhead one. Not as sturdy a size, but you know it's from the small spotted cat shark because a cat shark, a true shark, because of these tendrils here.
I'll just show everybody as well a beautiful photo of a small spotted cat shark. So you can see they're stunning animals, and they've got this incredible skin as well. And in fact, I have a close-up photo of their skin, because their skin has almost these it's like teeth all over their body. And so I'll just show you a photo of this because it's really beautiful. and you can see that there's really sort of sharp teeth. That's what their skin is made up of. So it's quite incredible. And as such, they will stay on the beach for quite a long time. They don't degrade very easily. So there we go. Have you found anything else, Nia, or should we could go back to Dawn?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna quick walk. I'm just walking down to the sort of bottom strand line. I just wanted to show you. If you look really carefully, you can see that this strand line is made up pretty entirely of razor shells, and that's one thing you do get in areas like this, and especially over the winter when you get these winter storms coming in. It sometimes, especially if that coincides with a low tide, what will happen is it'll start churning up the seabed, and you get to see, and it washes up a lot of these mollusk species, and this is quite often called a mollusk wreck, especially when you get the hundreds and thousands of the same thing washing up. And our beach project is something that we're looking at that, trying to record when it happens. But I have also just found this. This is a great example.
Lovely.
A really big ocean quahog, or it's also known as an Icelandic cyprine. Incredible. They grow really old. I think there was one that was aged at over 500 years old. So an incredible species. And actually, this is the first time I've ever found one in an empty shell in such good condition, actually. So, you know, what I love about beachcombing is it doesn't matter how long you've done it for, or how much you go out, you find something new, and like this is just incredible condition.
That's beautiful. I don't think I've ever found one that's so intact as that one is. That's amazing. Yeah, beautiful. I'm just going to show. We've got a photo of an otter shell wreck, and there we go. So that's the kind of thing that we've been looking out for in this beach project. When all of a sudden you go onto the beach and you find that there's been a mass wash up of a particular species. So we're trying to, we feel like this could tell us a lot about what's going on in the marine environment, which obviously we don't have a great deal of access to. So when you find these strandings, it's telling us a lot about what's going on in the sea, and it's really important to document them. So that's what we're doing with this beach project. Go back. So Nia, should we go back to Dawn, and we'll come back to you in a minute?
Yeah, I'll have a look for some more stuff.
Diolch yn fawr. We'll see you in a sec. Okay. Hi, Dawn.
Hello.
How are you getting on?
Well, I've been watching mating flies. Can you see the fly that's just sort of jumping? They're actually right next door to the cat shark, and now they've moved over to. I've connected the whelk. Can you see at the bottom now? Yeah, they're mating.
Yeah.
They're showing off to each other, mating. They've been doing that the whole time Nia's been talking. So I've been seeing a very different side to the beach. So I just thought I'd show you the common whelk. Together with the whelk shell that we found earlier, and Nia was talking about treasures on the shore, and sometimes you have to look, sometimes you have to know what you're looking for as well, and I'm hoping that this is what I think it is, which is this is bladderwrack, this whole strand line here, because of where it is. We do have quite a sandy beach here at Dennis Dintley. I look at that, it's gorgeous today actually, so absolutely beautiful. But you can see there's a few rocks over there, and there is seaweed, so we do get some seaweed a bit further up, so it's not quite as sandy. And on this seaweed, just where my really poor nail is, there is very terrible nail, and actually I think what I need to do is put it down so I can point to you, and then the camera will. So this, I think here, this little sort of area here, I think is the chewings of a blue-rayed limpet. Now the blue-rayed limpets are just utterly delightful to find. They're usually lower shore, and And what you'll find is if they're the smaller version and you find them sort of living, they've got this unbelievably beautiful iridescent stripes on, and you've probably got a picture there, Eve.
I've got a picture, yeah, and I've got a picture. Sorry, Dawn.
Oh yes, no, that's perfect. So they do leave little indentations after they've been gnawing on the shore.
Yeah, they're really stunning animals, aren't they? And you tend to find them, if you find one alive like this, it would tend to be very much down on the lower shore, wouldn't it? It'd be very, you know, because they do like to be covered up most of the time by the sea.
Yeah, I mean, it shows, actually, talking about the various places that you'll find animals on the shore. Obviously, looking at the strand line, this is all signs of life, of life just off our seas. So a lot of people think that, you know, our seas are a bit murky and there's not much going on there, and especially on a sandy shore like this. But actually, as you've seen, just in the small patches of strand line, I mean, they've literally covered 5 meters. And honestly, there's all sorts of signs of life. But obviously, when you're looking at the West Shore, you're also looking at signs of life that have come in from the Atlantic. Our seas come all the way from the Caribbean up the west coast, the east coast of the US, up to Canada and across here. So Antilles Dinllaer is where I can walk to from my home. So actually, I know it quite well, and I found quite a lot of things here, including Lego lost at sea. I found Lego seagrass. I found lobster tags from Canada, and sea beans. So, but Niaz beat me on the sea beans. Sorry, I didn't realise you were looking at me now. So, and what else I found here today, which I love finding, are these massive. Talking about seaweeds, this massive holdfast, and this is from a furbelows, and they're just amazing. You can imagine being a little fish or crustacean. You could live inside there easily and be quite protected from the waves. But we've got all sorts of lovely patches of seaweed. We've got some serrated rack, bladder rack, and we did have, here you go, beautiful.
Oh, beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous colour? Because a lot of the time these lose you know, a lot of their colour as they age or get washed in the sun as I go with them. But yeah, so, and you can see there's a little bit of sea mat, tiny little creatures living in a colony. So yeah, all sorts. Just, you don't have to look far, and you'll find all sorts of creatures on the shore, really, or signs of life on the shore.
Yeah. Oh, lovely. Thank you very much, Don. Well, I'll bring Nia back in, because Nia, you've found some sea beans before, haven't you? This is one of your great finds is sea beans.
I have, and I think people are getting a bit bored of me showing off my sea beans, but they are an incredible find. And again, it's going back to beach. You never know what you're going to find on the beach, and not, you know, every day is different. Every day is different. And back in 2015, 2016, that winter, we had just like a massive bumper year for beachcombing. We had endless storms coming in, and it was incredible. You know, the stuff that was finding things from afar. So, oh yeah, okay. So this is a sea heart type of sea bean, and this is the first one that I found.
Oh, sorry, I'll put it back on again. I'll put it back on again.
Yeah, so it was, and these are basically the seeds of tropical vines, and that come all the way from the sort of northeast coast of America and the Caribbean, and it just shows you how interlinked our oceans are. And what's incredible about these sea beans is that they're not fouled. They don't tend to have barnacles and things growing on them. So there's something, you know, that these sea beans are that's keeping them from getting covered, because then they get thrown up, and then you know, if they're valuable, they'll grow. Obviously, the UK is too cold for them. According to some people, you can actually grow them. Some of them that do wash up in the UK, even though they've, you know, travelled thousands of miles overseas over, you know, number of months and years, are still valuable, and you can grow them in the right, if you're able to recreate the right conditions.
Yeah. And that it's, you know, if anybody watched the talk last night with Steve Truella and Julie Hatcher, there are some amazing tropical things that wash up on our beaches. So it's definitely worth looking out. They were where you can watch back that talk when that goes up online, and looking for goose barnacles, and even the Columbus crab, which you can sometimes find nestled in amongst the goose barnacles. And in fact, I can show you they're beautiful animal. I can show you a picture of that as well, if you just give me 1 second. And I think there we go. And they're just stunning creatures. And the goose barnacles are pelagic, and so they'll travel along bits of plastic in the ocean. And I found quite a lot of them at Porthnaguil before. And then if you just have a good look inside, then you might find one of these Columbus crabs, which are also pelagic as well. So they don't have a specific location. They travel across the sea, and they feed on just whatever's passing, really. And that's how they live. So they're a very unique set of animals, really. There we go. So I'll just bring you both back now. And I think that's probably it from our beaches today, is it?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr. Oh, there we go. We've got Nia. Diolch yn fawr to you both. And thanks very much. Yeah, thanks very much for sharing with us what you found on the beach this morning.
Thank you. And if anyone wants to put questions on this post, we'll be keeping an eye out throughout the festival weekend. We'll try and get around to any questions you may have about beachcombing.
Brilliant. Thank you. Diolch.
Diolch yn fawr. Hwyl.
Well, so that was really nice, and yeah, thank you to everybody for watching. Do make sure that you check out what else is going on for the rest of the weekend, because we've got a timetable of stuff going on. So if you haven't got tickets yet, if you've watched this live, then go over to the North Wales Wildlife Trust website and get your tickets. And there's all sorts of stuff going on for the rest of the day and the rest of the weekend. There's talks. There's another live session tomorrow morning, and we've got sea shanties, so some live music tonight with Gwilym Boundaries. So please check that out. And yes, but for now, thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We've also got a talk at 3 o'clock, I think it is, with Emma Lowe. So she's doing a talk on marine invaders, so invasive species. So that will be really interesting as well. So diolch yn fawr for now. Hwyl, have a lovely day. Bye bye.